Thanks for having me here at the Ag Committee. My questions will be directed to the Canadian Cattlemen's Association. So first off, I'd like to say I agree with your testimony, as do a multitude of farmers in my riding of Bruce-Grey-Owen Sound. I'd say the best beef producers in Eastern Canada, so I don't get into a fight here with my Western colleagues. But your testimony, you talked about how essential providing habitat for species at risk are by our beef producers that rely on those grasslands. So I'd like to give you a minute to further expand on how those pastures benefit both the species, biodiversity in general, and even the health of the grazing cattle.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to take some of the questions and then pass it over to Dwayne. And certainly what we see is when grazing is done well is that we are really able to stack the benefits that come with them. So you could have, a biodiversity benefit, you could have a wetland restoration, you could have flood mitigation, you could have, all of these different stacking benefits. And I think that that's really exciting, particularly to those in the markets who are certainly interested in greenhouse gases, but they're also interested in the rippling effects that go along with them. And Australia, for example, had a project with Microsoft where they purchased carbon offsets, but then also had these biodiversity pieces that went through it as well. And I would say that it's been really exciting over the last number of years where conservation organizations and the farmer and rancher community, I think, have really hit our stride in how we work together, and bringing the expertise of the producer who knows that land and the expertise of biologists and riparian specialists together has just really resulted in some amazing results. And I think we need to keep on replicating that.
Thanks so much for that response, Ms. Jackson. I guess my next question for either yourself or Mr. Thompson would be that, unfortunately, and you mentioned about how important beef farmers are for carbon sequestration, but that's not necessarily what ends up in the headlines or in the media sometimes. So what can we do as parliamentarians to help combat and dispel these, the bad headlines, and just re-emphasize the importance of cattle producers in the beef for climate change and for the environment in general?
Yeah, well, certainly appreciate that question. And I must admit that I think we perhaps took it for granted for a bit too long that Canadians were connected to the farm and really understood what was happening on the farms. And we are fully aware that we need to be having very serious conversations with Canadians to help them understand that beef production in Canada preserves a native ecosystem, one that's endangered, one that is very integrated with the success of the cropping ecosystem in Canada too. So, we're certainly fully in on this. And something that we've done is that we've partnered, for example, on a film called Guardians of the Grasslands. Please, everybody, watch it. Please share it through your
Thank you.
through your networks. So that's
Thank
something.
You, Ms.